So in recent years, we've obviously got a lot of video games that have been movie adaptations, games like Hogwarts Legacy that came from the Harry Potter franchise, or Avatar Frontiers of Pandora are obviously very good examples of that. And now when a video game like that releases, the hype is automatically there, because watching a movie and seeing, for example, Hogwarts in the Harry Potter movies and visiting it yourself in a video game are, in my opinion, two completely different things. And for a lot of people, visiting those iconic fictional locations is literally a dream come true. So I thought to myself, what are some movies or some movie franchises that would benefit greatly from a video game adaptation? Obviously, I also thought about the fact that a lot of movies got video games in the last couple of years, so obviously I won't be mentioning those. There are also some movie franchises like John Wick or Pirates of the Caribbean that kind of have a very similar game to it, John Wick, for example, has Hitman, or Pirates of the Caribbean is very comparable to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about movies that have not got a very similar game and that will make a perfect video game adaptation when it comes to the open world, the story, and so on. Okay, so now the first movie that in my opinion would do greatly with a video game adaptation is Gladiator. And obviously the movie is absolutely sensational, one of the best movies of all time in my opinion, yet there has not been a game that comes close to what we see in this movie. And think about it, the possibilities of that game would be absolutely insane. I mean, having an open world with the Roman Empire, obviously you would have the capital of Rome with the Colosseum and all of its iconic locations. And then when it comes to the story, a great example and a great vision would be to play a man that goes from the bottom to the top as a gladiator, like it kind of was in the movies. And obviously there was a huge amount of intrigue and betrayal, so that would also make a lot of sense when it comes to a video game in that era. And it would be great to see how the life of a gladiator changes and how different people treat him the more battles we win and the more we survive. And obviously when it comes to the open world, obviously one of the best ones that we could have with the Roman Empire. So the possibilities for a Gladiator game are definitely there, and maybe because Gladiator 2 is coming out soon, there might actually be some game developers that will think about creating a game like that. Now the second movie that I would love to see a game adaptation of is The Godfather, one of my favorite movies from the 20th century. And obviously we have games like the Mafia trilogy, but I would really love to see a video game adaptation with all of its dilemmas, with all of its family problems that were so huge in the Godfather movies. We could rise to the ranks of the Mafia. Maybe the game could let us players build our own criminal empire, where you manage resources, recruit new people, and make tough decisions that impact your rise to the power. And obviously in The Godfather, the web of loyalty and betrayal was so dense, and navigating that in a video game where maybe your choices would matter would be absolutely insane. And as I said, the game could emphasize the moral dilemmas and the very complex relationships within the Mafia. And in a game like that, it would be possible to, let's say, choose how to handle rivalries with other families or other clans, forging different alliances, and just maintaining our own power. And obviously when it comes to the open world, the possibilities are pretty much endless. You can make a game in New York, you can make a game in Palermo. Obviously the Mafia is very big and has roots almost everywhere around the world. So the next game on today's list is a game in the Monsterverse universe. And while the movies definitely offer some epic monster brawls, a game could delve even deeper. Imagine a game where we control iconic monsters like Godzilla or King Kong and explore vast open worlds where we have to battle other monsters and complete objectives that expand the Monsterverse lore. What would be very interesting in a game like that though would be a multiplayer aspect. I mean, imagine teaming up with a friend where you fight as two giant monsters against other people online and compete in online battles for dominance or just wreak havoc on the open world or on some cities. I mean, obviously an open world in a game like that would have to be different from most open worlds, because here it would have to be quantity over quality. The open world would have to be bigger, obviously not as detailed as most open worlds, because those monsters are so huge, and traveling 10 miles with those giants would literally take a minute or so. But a proper game with modern graphics in the Monsterverse universe, which by the way is expanding very rapidly, so I think a game is only a matter of time till we will see a proper one, and I'm definitely hyped for that one. Okay, now the fourth movie on today's list is The Lord of the Rings. And now here it is a difficult situation. Because on one hand, we already have some games that are in the Lord of the Rings universe. Obviously, the best ones are Middle-earth, Shadow of War, and Shadow of Mordor. What I would love to see, and I think one of my first videos on this channel is about that topic, is a game when we can explore Middle-earth like never before, you know, an open world game that could let us players journey through the iconic location of the world, where we have to interact with characters, complete quests, and experience the epic scope of the story, would be an extremely great experience. You know what, something like Hogwarts Legacy, but for the Lord of the Rings. As I said, Middle-earth definitely features some characters that we have seen in the movies and obviously has the same lore. But I would love to see Middle-earth, you know, where you can visit the Shire, where you can visit Rivendell or Minas Tirith, you know, those iconic locations that we haven't really been able to explore in a video game. I mean, the closest one is probably the Lego games, where you can explore those locations. Obviously, it's not comparable to, let's say, Hogwarts Legacy or other modern games. So I would absolutely love a Lord of the Rings game where we can actually explore the locations from the movies. And let me tell you, when a game like that would be announced, the hype would be automatic, you know. It's the same thing with Hogwarts Legacy, where the developers were not really known beforehand. It would be the same thing here. So a Lord of the Rings game where we can maybe even create our own character and live in that world, in Middle-earth, would be definitely one of my dream games in the future. And now the fifth game on today's list is the Transformers game. And now listen, we have got some games for the earlier generation of consoles which were alright, okay? They were not bad games, but nothing sensational. But a Transformers game with modern graphics and a proper story and budget would definitely be a huge bang. I mean, imagine playing as a Transformer that maybe we can choose ourselves, maybe we can create our own Transformer and go through a story where we meet characters and Transformers from the movies. And obviously the possibilities when it comes to the open world would be ginormous, because we have different planets that we could be able to visit. Obviously it would also be very nice to be able to transform from Transformer into cars, so you're able to go from point A to point B faster. And obviously just being able to explore other planets would, in my opinion, definitely be a great choice in a Transformers game, where you maybe meet characters, as I said, from the movies like Optimus Prime, Bumblebee. So a video game in the Transformers universe would definitely make a lot of sense. And now the last game that I want to talk about in today's video is Alice in Wonderland. And now this one is obviously very special, because the world of Alice in Wonderland pretty much makes zero sense. So a game in that franchise would capture this fantastical and nonsensical world of Wonderland through a creative level design, where you, let's say, have to go through puzzles, and obviously being able to explore this world and meet all the crazy and quirky characters that are in the movies would be a lot of fun. And obviously, while the open world and the characters are so fun and crazy from the outside, the game could offer a deeper narrative experience, allowing us players to explore the lore and hidden meanings behind the locations and the characters, like we obviously had in the Alice in Wonderland movies. Okay, so those are my 6 games where I would love to see a video game adaptation. Obviously there are a lot of movies and movie franchises that have not gotten their own games. So I'm very interested in hearing about your opinions and which movie franchises you actually think would benefit greatly from a video game. As I said, there are a lot of movie franchises that I would really love to see a proper adaptation of. My first thought was Pirates of the Caribbean or James Bond, but we already have games that come very close to those, and I decided to only include 6 games on the list. But as I said, I'm very interested in your opinions and your movie franchises that you would like to see video games of in the future. Alright guys, that was it for me in today's video. I wish you all an amazing day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.